Hey, what is up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we sit here on Wrestlemania weekend. It is Friday morning. We are counting down until Wrestlemania. I'm coming to you live from not Orlando, Florida, but from Sacramento, California. This is the first year since WrestleMania 29 I have skipped WrestleMania. And honestly, I was texting with my good buddies Miguel and Ravi. We were texting yesterday about how it's weird that none of us really miss WrestleMania and the feeling of being in Orlando this year. Honestly, when I look at the WrestleMania card, WrestleMania to me wasn't that big of an attraction, even if they're trying to make WrestleMania look like it's supposed to be one of the biggest attractions of all year. To me, honestly, when I look at WrestleMania 33's card, it reminds me a lot of what just a normal pay-per-view would be. Honestly, I was more excited for Survivor Series and or Royal Rumble. I'm not going to say that it's bad booking or just whatever. I just think that this year just didn't look that attractive. I will go to Orlando someday, but it will not be to go to wrestling. Although there are a lot of shows going on. Dave Meltzer was saying that if you include the autograph signings and just things to do around the town, there's over 100 events that you had to pick between in order to plan out your WrestleMania trip. It reminds me a lot of when WrestleMania 29 exploded in New York, and they just really had shows going everywhere. This WrestleMania card itself, it's got matches. It's got lots and lots and lots of matches. They can't even pick what they're going to be putting onto the pre-show. The girls were on there, and now the girls are back on the main card. I think it'll come down to the last minute decision to see where these matchups will match up. I can remember, when I talk about Ravi and Miguel and going on these trips, WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 31. Basically with me, I'm a cheap guy. If I pay for something, if you can remember WrestleMania 32, I was flipping out that I couldn't even get into the AT&T Stadium last year to see the pre-show. People were talking about Kalisto and Ryback, about how nobody was in attendance in order to watch that match, and that was the opening match last year of the Mountain Dew kickoff show. But to me, honestly, that wasn't Ryback's fault. It wasn't Kalisto's fault. That was WWE and or AT&T Stadium's fault for not letting people into the stands. There was people outside. There was tons of people outside. More people outside than there was inside. People were dying to get into that stadium. And the stadium was not able to process the people and the tickets to get into those seats. I understand they just couldn't just open up the gates and be like, I bet everybody's got a ticket. Figure it out once you get in there, because then it just would have caused mass chaos on the inside. But mass chaos was happening on the outside. I almost fought some big fat guy. But that's a story for another day if I haven't already told it itself. I can honestly say that still the only match that really excites me for WrestleMania is Triple H versus Seth. I want to see how good Seth is when he comes back. I know that Triple H, my favorite performer of all time, I know that he's going to have the best match on the show. This will be the best wrestling match. They will tell the best story. I'm hoping that it does not involve, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor. I hope they just keep the story to Seth versus Triple H, because this is honestly a match that we've been wanting to see since the days when Seth was in the Authority, and we thought this match was going to take place at WrestleMania 31. Then we thought this match was going to take place at WrestleMania 32, where basically Triple H wanted to protect his investment, but Rollins wanted to show that he was the best and he didn't need all the help. But still, Triple H put him out there with Corporate Kane, put him out there with J&J Security, and Jamie Noble, and who's the other one? Damn it! Whenever I think of that in my mind, my mind's going 100 miles an hour, and I want to say Jamie Kennedy, like that comedian guy. I can never get his name right, but damn it fucking fucks me up right now. But honestly, Randy and Bray, they might have a good match. Honestly, in my mind, I don't think it's really going to connect with me. Randy winning the championship at another WrestleMania doesn't really excite me. Owens versus Jericho, to me, honestly, was something that I was fighting for a couple months ago to be the main event of WrestleMania, to involve the Universal Championship. Now that it's going for the United States Championship, this is a match that, honestly, I don't even think about at all. The build for this match the last 3 weeks since Owens lost the championship has beyond the point of horrible. Owens has slipped right back into that, mid-card sort of, whatever kind of deal with them, caring so much about Goldberg as well as Brock Lesnar in the last few weeks on Monday Night Raw. Undertaker versus Reigns is the match that I don't really care about, but I think that's going to be a fucking awesome match. You remember back to WrestleMania 23 with Undertaker going up against Batista. They really thought that they deserved to be the main event, even though the match that was supposed to take place for the WrestleMania main event of Triple H versus John Cena didn't get to happen because Triple H got injured. They replaced him with Shawn Michaels. They ended up having a really good match, Cena and Michaels did. But honestly, there was more heat, there was more build, there was better story to Batista versus Undertaker, and they went out and they threw down. They had a fucking awesome match. And Batista, when he walked through the curtain, he yelled at the production crew, he yelled at the fellow wrestlers that were waiting around, follow that. And he meant it, because that was a fucking awesome match. Possibly one of the best Batista matches that he's ever had. Possibly one of the best Undertaker WrestleMania matches, minus the Shawn Michaels and Triple H ones, which are looked at as such with such high regard. Batista was a fucking awesome talent, and I'm not saying that Roman Reigns and Batista are the same dude, but they're gonna deliver the same awesome style of match. Roman Reigns, for the people who love him and the people who hate him, he does have great matches on pay-per-view. He does know how to step up to the plate and deliver. This guy, he might not be the best wrestler of the entire WWE, but the guy knows how to wrestle. He knows how to pro wrestling entertainment, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. He knows how to get that over and deliver a fucking awesome match, as well as the fucking rest of the show. Like I said earlier, whatever's on the pre-show is on the pre-show. Whatever's on the main show is on the main show. I don't think a year from now, 2 years from now, we're not really going to remember a lot about this WrestleMania. A lot like WrestleMania 29. It just sort of gets swept under the rug every few years. They have one that just doesn't really have that appeal. They build until next year and they make sure they blow it out of the park. I can remember when people kept on saying that they had the every other year lull, where 27 wasn't that good, 29 wasn't that good, people were saying 31 wasn't going to be that good. It is what it is. I mean, you take that gamble. You buy those tickets so far in advance. You start making plans for WrestleMania almost a year ahead of time. So we'll have to see. I mean, WrestleMania 34 already has such big, great expectations with it going back to New Orleans so soon. I can honestly tell you that was the best trip we ever went on, so I'm looking forward to it big time. Other than the rumor out there of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the main event, there's no way to really predict what's going to be going down on that show. Tag teams could break up and they could fight each other at WrestleMania next year, or they're going to do things where they shake things up with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and the draft and trades. And I thought we would have at least had a trade by now. All the stuff that they were hyping up with Cesaro wanting to be a part of SmackDown, didn't really want to be a part of Monday Night Raw. They could have done something with that. I know that when Foley got fired, it was right before WrestleMania, so you couldn't change things up too much. But how good would it have been if they wouldn't have done Foley getting fired to kick off Raw, and they would have had where basically Foley was trying to escape Stephanie, and Stephanie was looking for Foley, but Foley was doing things throughout the show to fuck with Stephanie because he knew he was getting fired. Like, he would trade Cesaro and Sheamus to SmackDown and basically get nothing back in return, where he was just screwing them over. Where we know after WrestleMania, that Raw after WrestleMania, they're going to be bringing people up from NXT. They can rebuild the show that way, and his names could be there. There's things they could have done. We'll see. I mean, I remember when they did that, I can't remember when that was before. If it was before SummerSlam or Survivor Series, they did the State of WWE address, where they had, Shane, Stephanie, Mick Foley, and Daniel Bryan all sitting down together, and doing a show live on the WWE Network. And I thought that was going to be awesome. And I think that it honestly really shit the bed, especially with Foley telling all the stories about how good of a person Stephanie McMahon is. Maybe they were trying to get her babyface at the time because their book was coming out, but they'll figure something out. They'll definitely rebuild. I'm going to pack this into redoing the full show preview now that they've changed a few matches. Like they made the Raw tag team match a ladder match, which people think could include the Hardys somehow. You've got the New Day doing 1,000 skits. Triple H versus Seth Rollins was finally announced as a real match. We didn't get to talk about that last week, so we'll rebrand that and stack it all together and see what's going on. See you guys down the road.